This is the Expect Awesome Podcast, your source for expecting and achieving awesome with a God-powered confidence. And now, motivational speaker and Integrity Doctors President, Mr. Ryan K. Mall.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at the Expect Awesome Podcast. My name is Ryan, and I am thrilled to be back with you, and I've got a lesson for you, and I'm going to do something today that I probably shouldn't do. I am going to risk getting in trouble. That's right. I'm going to risk it all today for this lesson. And by risking it all, what I'm talking about is I'm going to say something that as a man, I probably shouldn't say. I'm going to say something as a husband I probably shouldn't say. But I'm going to admit it because it's going to make sense for you understanding how you're going to get the job done in 2021. And by the way, what I want to tell you is this. There are times when I don't necessarily listen to what my wife is saying. Now, I said it, I got out the way. Now, what I mean by that is there are times where I'm sitting with her and she's talking, and I know she's talking, and I pretend to be listening, but I'm not really listening. There are times she'll stop the conversation and she will say, "Are you listening?" And I will say, as much as I think so, I'll be like, "Yes," because I don't want to get in trouble. And it's not that I'm not. See, what I want you to understand today from this is that there is a difference between hearing and listening. Now, there's a striking difference between the two. Like I said, when my wife, there are sometimes when she's telling something, I can hear her talking. I can hear the words coming out, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm listening. I can hear it. I know it's happening. I know I'm in the moment. I know I'm probably going to get asked a question or two, but there are just times where I'm not really into it. I'm not really paying attention. I'm doing something else. I'm thinking about something else. I'm worried about something else, and I'm just not there. But I can hear her. It's not like I don't know she's talking. It's not like I don't know what's happening. I hear the words coming out of her mouth, but it doesn't mean I'm actually listening to what is being told. It doesn't mean I'm comprehending it. It doesn't mean that I'm getting it. What it means is I hear it, I know it's happening, but I'm not actually listening. So then when the moment comes and says, so what do you think about that? That's when the problem starts, because I'm like, well, I agree with you. What do you agree with me about? All of it. Because there is a difference between hearing and listening. Now, the reason I'm throwing myself under the bus this morning is because I want to make sure that you understand that when you are talking to your coach, when you are talking to whoever it is that is trying to help you with your business, there is a difference between hearing and listening. So you can be on with your coach and they can be telling you what's wrong. They can be telling what you need to fix. They can be telling you where your problem is. They can tell you everything you need to know because that's why you've hired them in the first place. But if you aren't actually listening, it doesn't matter what they say. And a lot of times what we tend to do in business is that we like to listen to the stuff that we want to hear about, and we like to just hear the things that we don't. We like to try to tune out the stuff that isn't our liking, that shows that we're doing something wrong, because we'd rather just listen to the good stuff. What we want to do is we want to just get the praise, but we want to turn down the negativity. See, it's really easy to just try to stay on the high of what you're doing right, when you need to realize the reason you are doing coaching is to get you away from and fixing what you're doing wrong. And that's where the actual listening factor comes in. See, because if you're listening, you can understand it. You can take it in. You can know what's happening. You can know what's going on. But if you're just hearing it, you're not exactly engaged. You're not exactly in it. You're not really there. You're not really worried about it. What you're doing is you are going through the motions. You're doing the whole, I'm nodding the head. I'm here. I'm here. I don't care that you're here. What I care is that you get out of this what you need to get out of it. But that's why sometimes on your call, you need to be more worried about what you're listening to rather than just what you're hearing. As a really great example, I've been speaking for a very long time, and I really believe that one of the greatest just lessons or greatest things I've ever learned from my dad, who's done this a long time, is having the ability to listen. One of the things that most people do, or at least don't do enough, is just listen. See, it's very easy to just want to wait for the break so that you can start talking again. You're more listening for when you can speak up and share your thoughts rather than listening to what you can learn, what you could change, where you could go. That's what you need to be focused on. What you need to be focused on is what areas do you need improvement on, and what can you listen to that will allow you to access the change that you need to get yourself out of it. That's where the focus should be. That's where you should start looking to. See, I remember this. I've told this story at a conference before. It's a unique story. I met a guy on a plane, and our flight got delayed. And while our flight got delayed, we were sitting there, and he asked me what I did, and I said, "Well, I speak for a living." And he's like, "I've always wanted to be a motivational speaker." I was like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Would you mind, since we're delayed, would you mind taking a minute to help me with that, to tell me what to do? I've never met someone who does it. I've always wanted to. Can you help me?" And, I didn't really have much of the choice. There was nowhere else. It's not like I'd be like, "Well, I have a plane to catch." We're on the same one and it's delayed. So I'm sitting there and I said, "Sure. What questions do you have? What would you like to know?" And we had about a 30-minute break before the plane boarded. Obviously, we weren't sitting together, so this was our one opportunity. And he spent the next 30 minutes talking. Never made a break, never stopped. It just talked and talked and talked. I never even had to say a word. I just sat there. I listened to him. I went through the whole deal. It got to the end. They announced the boarding. I said, "Well," I was like, "I'm sorry, but I've got to get on the plane now." And he said, "Oh, I got to tell you, I just wanted to thank you for this. You have really helped me." Now, I don't know what I helped him with. Maybe he just wanted someone to talk to. Maybe he just wanted a listening ear. Maybe he just needed to vent. I don't know. But he came in with the attitude of, "I need help to learn how to do something." And then he leaves it thinking he learned something, but he obviously didn't, because he never let me talk. He never let me speak. He never let me even give a yes. I mean, he just flooded right through that thing. And the irony is what he really needed to do was to stop and listen. I could have gave him some advice that would help. I could have helped him in ways that he doesn't even understand. I could have told him things that would keep him from making mistakes if he did want to try. I could have given him some guidance that would have been extremely helpful. But instead, he thinks he got help, but he didn't, because he wouldn't stop. He wasn't there to listen. See, sometimes the greatest difference between those that change and those that don't, those that experience miraculous growth and those who don't, those that experience explosive growth and those that don't, is because at some point along the way, those people were able to stop and listen. They were willing to do more than just hear. They were more than just willing to just do the actions and just go along with things and just let you talk. They were willing to listen and think and realize they needed to do something about it. So I'm asking you today, when you talk to your staff, when you talk to your friends, when you talk to your coach, when you talk to, are you hearing or are you listening? Are you just watching them talk? Are you just blowing them off and doing other things? Are you typing out other things? Are you answering emails while the coach is going on? Are you messing with other stuff? Are you thinking about other things? Or are you actually listening? And I realize that there's going to be times when you're going to be listening to something and stuff's going to be said that you don't like. Stuff's going to be said that you don't want to hear. Stuff is going to be said that you would rather avoid, that you would rather look past, that you would rather just move on from. And I promise you, what you need to do, rather than reacting, rather than jumping in and stopping it because you don't want it, you need to listen. Because what's being told to you is being told to help you change. to help you grow, to help you make the impact that you're here to make. So this week, I want you to start listening and just recognize it. Recognize in the moment if you're hearing or you're listening. God, I want to thank you for today. I want to thank you for the person on the other end of this who is listening. I pray that you would allow them to listen to their coach, listen to their team, listen to the people around them the way that they listen to this podcast. I pray that you open their ears, open their minds, open their hearts, and give them the strength they need to make the change that they need to make to not only go for your glory, but to achieve it and experience the awesomeness that you have prepared for them. God, I thank you. I give you all the praise. It's in your name that we pray. Amen. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. God bless you. I love you. Have an absolutely awesome week.
For more awesomeness, visit RyanKMall.com or follow him on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at RyanKMall. Until next time, keep smiling and remember, you are awesome.